the world.
You songwriter?
Nope.
Singer-songwriter?
Song singer.
Who sings that?
Everyone in the 80s.
Yeah, ain't it like the proper 80s?
Yeah. Got Michael Jackson, who's
USA.
wearing sunglasses in a recording
Fantastic.
studio. You might be the songbird of our generation, son, but take your fucking glasses off inside.
He's Michael Jackson, isn't he?
Shamo.
He was.
Everyone know.
Hello and welcome to the Stretford Paddock podcast. My name is Joe.
Madonna
This
was on it, I think.
is Stephen Howson. How you doing?
Lionel Richie, I think, going on it.
Dinah Ross.
I'm thinking as well, Hall & Oates were on there.
Just gonna
No.
rein it. I'll try. I'll rein it back in there.
Right.
Steve, I've got a question actually. You'll like this because it's about camo. Did they ever use blue camo out and about?
Doubt it.
Really? What if you're trying to kill a whale that's done a dirty?
We are the people.
Too busy singing to do army stuff at that minute.
Yeah.
And we're going to be talking about Harry Kane. He's been opening the door for transfers, hasn't he? Do you know the transfer door? We often hear about the transfer window, which does tend to slam shut. It opens gently, but slams shut the transfer window.
Cyndi
But
Lauper
this
was on
one
it.
Oh, of course
is a
she was.
transfer
80s
door.
icon.
Put their mics down.
It was
Taking the
Artist
piss.
USA for Africa, in case you was interested.
Yeah, good.
Was that the artist?
That was the artist. But basically,
That was their version
It
of
was
Live
the
Aid.
original super group.
Really?
Yeah.
Lionel Richie was the songwriter.
I said
Michael
Lionel
The
Jackson.
original supergroup. We've already
The two
talked about
people
the
who wrote it.
Highwaymen.
Lionel Richie, Michael Jackson. That's how you know it was a banger.
Boom. Hey, there you go.
Right, hang on. We're going to find out who was on it.
Everyone was
Musicians. Oh, my goodness. Right, you ready?
on it. Go on.
Lionel
No.
Richie, Stevie Wonder, Paul Simon, Kenny Rogers, who's James Ingram? Tina Turner. Billy
Who's
Joel.
James Ingram?
Yeah, I don't know who it is.
Yeah, Mobile. That one.
I know that song, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was
Dionne
Phil
Warwick,
Collins.
Willie Nelson,
Yeah, he
Bruce
was.
Springsteen, Kenny Loggins,
Boss.
Steve Perry, Daryl Hall, Huey
Said
Lewis.
Hall & Oates.
Hall
I
from
said-
Hall & Oates.
I said Hall & Oates and you went no. Yeah.
Don't know who they are.
ba-
Bob
ba-
Dylan,
Oh, yeah, you did.
Ray
Here she
Charles,
comes.
Kim
Watch
Carter,
out, boy.
Cyndi Lauper.
Chew you up.
And apparently,
Oh, here
the
she
chorus
comes.
had Dan Aykroyd.
She's a man eater.
How mad's that? Bob Geldof. He had to get in the mix, didn't he?
God,
All the rest of
bore
the
off,
Jacksons,
Bob.
T.O., Randy, Marlon, LaToya, and Jackie.
bothered.
Waylon Jennings.
Waylon Jennings, yeah, come on.
Bette Midler. John Oates. I guess that's from the other half of the
Hey,
thing.
no flies on you, son.
Smokey Robinson. The
Hey.
Pointer Sisters.
It's a miracle.
Right, we've got some instrument players
Pointer
here now.
Sisters, what, the
Told you it was a
Brickies?
big old fucking
No
band.
need to
doing
Like.
chimneys, are they?
Over. It's
Bob
totally
Geldof playing
automatic.
guitar.
Well, good for him. Let's talk about football, I would say. 'Cause
Why
it
have I got
does
a Batman
tend to be-
sticker on my phone?
Yeah.
It's a fucking bat phone, innit, dickhead? Because I got a 2-year-old who likes putting stickers on things.
Oh,
And because I like her, she's
See?
kind of alright.
heart
leave
of
it on.
gold. Despite what people say about you.
Despite what the vast majority of people say about you, you're all right.
Yeah.
Aye.
I like her most
Yeah.
of the time.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Let's talk about football then. Let's talk about Harry Kane. We were talking about him before because the reason I want to talk about this is because
Alright.
he's been saying shit
Checking
about
my
his.
watch.
He's been saying shit about his contract, hasn't he? He said it's important that all my focus is on the 2 England games coming up now and the rest of the season with Spurs, then the Euros. To be thinking about speculation or rumours would be damaging in terms of my own performance. I always like to be focused on one goal and one job. That's to finish strong with Spurs. These qualifiers with England are hopefully going to have a great Euros. Look, I try to stay out of speculation as much as possible. I'm fully focused on doing the job on the pitch from now until the end of the summer, and then we'll see where we go from there.
Just thinking about Harry Kane enunciating speculation.
If this was Paul Pogba, we'd be losing our minds, or some people would anyway.
Do you know what? You don't fucking play for me, so why would I give a fuck?
Well, because Manchester United are in the market for a striker.
Yeah.
Harry Kane has been linked with Manchester United for many a year.
Yeah. I'd like a new house. Let's go look at Buckingham Palace, shall I?
But that's not the same comparison, is it? Because United do have the current British transfer record. You don't, unfortunately, have the current British house buying record. No. So it's not as though we're comparing two ridiculous things here. We have spent 89 million on Pogba, 80 on Maguire, 75 Lukaku, 65 Di Maria. We do spend money.
You make a great point, Joe, but can I just say that we just took a fucking loan out to pay the electric bill?
Tell us more about that. What electric bill? Who's taking that out?
I don't know if it's specifically electric bill. United have took out 60 million to pay our bills. So guess what? If you're taking a loan out to pay your fucking bills, I don't think you... Spurs are going to want every penny of 150 million for Harry Kane, right?
Yeah.
Which puts him at about 100 million more than we're going to spend this summer.
What if we sell Paul Pogba?
We're still not buying Harry Kane.
What
We're
if
not
we
buying
sell
Harry
the
Kane.
stadium?
We're not buying Harry Kane. We're not buying Harry Kane. And just in case you're wondering, we're not buying Harry
But
Kane.
United have been interested in Harry Kane in the past, haven't they?
Great.
All right, let me ask you this then, Steve. Let's say we won the Euro Millions and we had 149 million.
What,
And
as a club?
Yeah, and United went, I'll tell you what, we'll chuck $1 million in, there's the 150 million. Would you have him?
No.
Why not?
I don't think... And here's the thing, right? And this is a fundamental problem with football, is people just want to go, who's the best player, get him.
Yeah.
I don't think he suits United in any way, shape or form. I think United are trying to build an unselfish team that works for each other, and I don't see that in Harry Kane.
Even though he's upped his assists a lot this season, hasn't he?
Right, and that's not about... You can still be selfish and have assists.
Right.
It's not necessarily about, are you a creative player, are you this, that, and the other. I think his entire demeanour is detrimental to a team, and that's why he's won fuck all in his career, because he's more about the him than the we. The Sterling pass at the World Cup, for example. England are in a fucking final. Nah, Harry Kane needs to score. The guy basically petitioned to have all of those... That back heel deflection goal, was it Loftus-Cheek it off him?
Yeah.
Get in the fucking bin, mate. Like, imagine picking up an award and getting an MBE on the back of someone else kicking a ball at you that you didn't even know about. Fucking do me a favour. No, I'm not having him. I don't think he's got a likeable personality, and I think... We've had selfish players at United. Ruud van Nistelrooy, one of the most selfish. Cristiano Ronaldo, one of the most selfish. But they're selfish within a team environment, and they will always be good for the team. And both of them are extreme winners that have won a lot of trophies. Harry Kane, for me, not only am I not having him like that, I also just don't think the style of play that United are trying to play, he suits it.
That's... although I don't agree with all that, I get where you're coming from. It makes sense. I think the only thing with Harry Kane... and him being available and him sort of playing, flirting with the idea of moving from Spurs with some of the comments. No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, what did you say?
I think he'll be going to City.
Well, that's my point, is he could end up going to Manchester City.
Well, not everyone's going to go to City,
though. No, but hear me out.
FFP's not a thing anymore.
I know.
Well, yeah, but again, that's
right.
not
If he
official
goes
either.
to City, though, my point is, maybe it makes it a little bit easier for us to go to Haaland if, in fact, we are going to. Because they won't be going for it.
City aren't going to sign Haaland and Kane this summer.
That's my point.
Yeah.
That's my exact point.
Yeah.
If they go for Kane, which they could do, because they've got the money, and like you say, FFP they're not even pretending that's a thing anymore. So they might go, right, Kane, guaranteed 35 goals in Premier League or whatever it is. Get him, 150 mil, jobs are good in. They're not going to want Haaland as well. So United might have a chance of getting him.
And also, here's the thing, right? And despite, you hear rumours, you hear this, you hear that. For about 2 months of a 3-month transfer window 2 years ago, Arsenal were telling the press, we've got 20 million to spend. Or what was it, 30 million? And then they went and bought Pepe for 75. So, that was a club that hasn't won anything in 15 years, so has got no reason to have any money. Still talking about paying off a stadium that, come on, it was 15 years ago, lads. But, United do have money, and United do spend money. So, and I know it seems like it's easy. I just think it's kind of easy to say we're not going to sign anyone, because we do sign people every summer, even if it was a disappointing summer last year and there was no big Harry Kane, Sancho signing, whatever. But
look at 2018 and Jose's second season.
Yeah, I know.
We signed
but we still we spent 50 million on Fred.
Right, yeah, we spent 50 million on Fred and spent it on Delo, and we bought in Lee Grant. And
yeah, I agree, shocking.
The problem is United are spending money, but they're spending bad money because... I tweeted the other day, someone had put a plaster over a broken car door, and I said United's summer transfer plan's been revealed.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Because that's what it's going to be. That instead of going, right, can we do this job properly? Let's say you're building a house. Instead of going, well, the builder's going to charge us 100 grand to build this house, you go, well, my mate Keith watched a YouTube video of plastering once. He's free.
He did an IKEA calyx.
Do you know what I mean? This is what United seem to do. And you'll spend 40 grand trying to build a house on the cheap, and that's what United are doing. So we're spending money, but we're not spending it intelligently. We're hitting up on an occasional successful buy because, you signed fucking Bruno Fernandes, did you? Oh, what a gem that no one had heard of at the time, or was clamouring over themselves. You can still end up pulling in gems, but because you've got no unified direction. Look at Daley Blind. Daley Blind, apart from the heart trouble that he's had, would be a player that Ole would have liked. But because we went, Lou Van Gaal, Jose Mourinho, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and previously David Moyes, and we've still got Sir Alex Ferguson's fucking signings here. Remember him?
Yeah, but some of them are,
Remember him?
What, Phil Jones, doing all right.
Exactly. So you've got all of these players on significant money, significant wages, preventing us from being able to invest into other players because 5 fucking managers ago signed them. We've got no unified kind of approach. City knew that they were getting Guardiola in for fucking long old time before they got him. They brought in the directors of football years before they brought him in. The likes of Sterling and De Bruyne were Guardiola signings for Guardiola coming.
Yeah, 100%.
And since he's fucking got there, he's spunked in some right cash on signings that didn't work because he's been allowed. We sign a centre-half, doesn't work out, and he go, well, I bought you a centre-half. City go, we'll buy you a centre half. Yeah, that didn't work. What a new one?
What a new one? Okay, John Stones, that didn't work. What a new one? All right, Laporte. Oh, that worked. I want a new one. Diaz. I'm not using Laporte anymore. Now it's Stones again.
Yeah.
Give Yaki as a backup.
Give Yaki as well for another 40 million.
Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So they've spent what 2-3 fucking 100 million on centre halves alone under Pep.
Let alone before you get to the fullbacks.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Some of which have been sold already. And
they did it with a goalkeeper. You know, Claudio Bravo was met with the new second coming of Levi Ashin. They were going to take the team forward in a different way to Joe Hart. After about a game, you could see he wasn't cut out for the Premier League. So they go out and they spend mega money on Edison. It's just a luxury that they've got.
And it was a success on Edison, right? But most managers don't get the luxury of being able to, like most managers, you're making do with fucking Kolarov, you're making do with Bravo, because you've still got some sensational players in that City team.
Yeah. I mean, like look at Liverpool. How many games has Lovren played for Liverpool? Like, I'm sure they would have liked to replace him a lot earlier than they did. But he has to play 300 games in the meantime, whereas City would have got... How long would have Lovren lasted at City?
A week.
About 6 weeks.
He comes to training, he's shit. They have off. It's like they have a couple of games ago, actually.
Yeah, we're not.
How long did Mahrez take to get into the team properly?
Yeah. Mahrez, Stones were all long-term players, and I say long-term, like couple of seasons before it was like, actually... You know, they're doing...
Stones was finished until this year.
Yeah, they thought he was going to go in the summer, didn't we? Now
he was there?
He's probably been, best centre-back in the league or one of them.
Yeah. Robert McCarthy says, what's all this talk about modern football? Why aren't we talking about the greatest cup final in history, 1991 Cup Winners' Cup?
That's Friday.
That's Friday. We do that on a Friday. Don't worry. Friday, it'll be me, I think Andy Tate's joining us, and we're just going to talk about the 1991 Cup Winners' Cup final.
Suran Bala as well.
Because I've had them on my phone.
Sorry. Suran Bala has said, realistically speaking, do you think there's a possibility of getting Kane or Haaland? Also, do you think we'll be all right not getting a striker this summer and getting away with a Cavani or similar? Statistically, do you think there's a possibility of him? I think the odds of getting either are less than 50%. Because, United haven't spent that kind of money on a player in a while.
I think there's going to be one marquee signing this summer.
I do as well.
I do. And I think it kind of makes sense for them to do that from a business point of view. I think if they've got someone they can sort of rally around as a
I hope there is
marketing sign, because Cavani didn't really do that. They tried to make that happen, giving him the number 7 shirt. And, look, plus he was signed quite late in the day. Everyone knew he was past his best. And it didn't feel like the sort of marquee signing that you needed. Donny van de Beek was never a marquee signing at all, and neither was Alex Telles. So I think that's what was missing from last season, and obviously from the summers, and obviously the kids were.
Jamie's got a super chat there, and he's saying big transfer fees could still happen with structured payments. This was the issue with Sancho. United wanted to pay less up front, different to end.
But that's been happening for years, hasn't it? We're
I don't think Pogba off. I don't think that's the issue in terms of we owe 250 million on transfers in just the last couple of years, which is fucking bananas.
Yeah,
I don't think that's the issue. I think the issue is the wages of those players, because the wages are often equal to the transfer fee for a lot of these players.
Over the length of the contract.
Yeah. You amortise the player transfer over the length of that guy's contract as well. So in terms of accounting, which is well shady, to be honest with you, like they go, well, I paid that off over 7 years, whereas you didn't. But that's just the way it goes down. I don't think it's the issue. I think it's the agreeing to have that sort of amount of credit. I don't think the club's got that credit. We're up to the fucking eyeballs in debt. And United might have probably got better credit than I've got, but I don't think they're getting the world's class superstar signs, and we haven't got the cash. If we're taking out a loan to pay, think about this, lads. If we're taking out a fucking loan to pay our day-to-day bills, do you honestly believe that we're going to go and splash the cash and agree to even further credit to strengthen the squad? They're not going to do it.
I think there can be a little bit of almost like a merry-go-round, though, in terms of signings and stuff. I think some players will leave, and I think Paul Pogba might pay a chunk towards one marquee signing. I think there will be signings. I think it'll be one sort of big one, and then sort of another Cavani-type player who's on a free, and maybe a couple of up-and-coming youngsters where you like...
You definitely get them.
Yeah, I don't really know.
That's the new model, I think.
Yeah, and I can't really say too much about it because I don't know a lot about these players, but it's a bit underwhelming. I feel like there might be one of those types of summers, but I do expect one. I think it'll be one, and I just think that it makes sort of sense.
I'm just going to be really, really drunk all summer and be all right.
But surely United don't have no money. I know you're talking about getting this loan out and stuff, but this is a company that makes loads of money and makes
no, it's
profit.
Not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Well, all right then. why do they release data saying that we've made 100 million profit, 70 million, 80 million profit?
Right, we used to make a lot more than that prior to the eye-watering deals that are coming in.
Yeah.
United have been hit the most by the lack of fans being in the stadium because we have the most fans and therefore we make the most money on match days.
Yeah.
So we haven't had that for an entire year, which wouldn't have been in anyone's fucking budget 5 years ago when they were doing 4 or 5 year planning. United were struggling with that. Interest rates are probably going to go through the roof because there's a worldwide recession about to fucking drop on everyone. And we owe the banks all sorts of cash. That's why. Put it this way, we're currently paying around about 100 million a year, a yeehaw, more than we put on fucking transfers, by the way, in interest repayments just because the fucking gnomes own us, right? Now, if the interest rates double, and the interest rates have been historically low since the 2008 recession, 13 fucking years ago, if those interest rates double to what is the interest rate now? Like 2-3%. If they only go to like 5 or 6%, now we're paying 200 million a year in interest. Like, it's not sustainable for us. And if the interest rates get to like
do you think that's when they sell?
Or go bankrupt. Like, if the interest rates get to 15%, which they got to in the 80s,
we're fucked.
Well, what's that? Like,
or at least
$1 billion a year in interest.
This current model is fucked. Because I think...
this model was fucked in 2005 when he bought us.
Not in terms of United winning trophies, I completely agree with that. But in terms of currently, the Glazers... The value of the club has gone up by more than what the Glazers have put in, by a long way.
Oh, if it went up £1.85, it would have gone up more than the Glazers have put in.
In terms of the model that the United's current owners are working to, I think they sell before they get to that point. Probably to a company that can afford to do it. But the thing is, if the interest rates change, and the interest rates can change in 3 months and just go boom, and like there is a worldwide recession about to hit because like the entire world's just been fucking furloughed and doing nothing for a year. The economy is pretty fucked. The interest rates are undoubtedly going to go up very, very high. If you're buying a house at the moment, I wouldn't fucking bother. I really wouldn't. I'd sit tight for a year or so and just see what happens. Because you might go and get a fucking interest rate, nice sexy one at like 2.5% on your mortgage.
2 years fucking later,
you try and remortgage 10%. It's 10. Yeah,
fucking have some of that. So your £500 a month mortgage has just gone up to $2,500. Cheers, easy.
Andrew Corbett 96 says, "What do you think of Pau Torres? Seems a good fit. Centre back, Villarreal.
Not buying him. We ain't got any money.
Do you think we're not going to sign anyone then? Honestly,
I don't think you're signing a marquee player. You might end up with a couple of youngsters.
Define marquee.
What limit are we? What's one signing?
Haaland, Kane, or any country.
No, all right.
But Pau Torres.
Pau Torres. What is he? 40 million?
No, 60. Is his release clause. I think that's too much at the moment. I'm trying to prepare you, Joe, for a fucking disappointment.
Someone in I think it was Connor Lynn in the chat.
I've been disappointed
in the chat was saying, "What do I think of Ismail Assar as an alternative to Sancho?" I love Assar. I think he's a great player. I don't know if that's going to happen. I think it might have happened in the summer, but we got Diallo instead.
Yeah, there was talk about him, wasn't there?
Yeah, it looked like he was being touted as
even
an
this summer again.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say no. I'd rather have Sancho.
Someone here says, stop talking about buying a house. City, Chelsea, any team have bought the players they went. Oh, you mean the people that are owned by billionaires are doing all right, are they? Jesus fucking Christ, mate.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? Our owners don't have the money of other owners. They have a club that is worth more than those clubs, but they don't have any money. Or they do. They have plenty of money.
United fan here in the comments
hundreds
says,
of millions.
That's not true. Steve's talking garbage. United rely the least on fans in the stadiums. I'm not saying we rely. We make the most out of the rest of the league in terms of people that are coming in the stadium. So we have now lost.
It's not necessarily the biggest percentage of our income, but we make more on match day revenue.
And also our commercial revenue is a myth. Like that graph, I showed you both the graph, didn't I? In terms of, I will be doing a video on that when I get the chance to. United made unbelievable amounts more, multiples and multiples more profit up until 2005, and then it just goes, see ya. And we get overtaken by fucking Spurs and Arsenal lately.
Yeah. Yeah, the overall income and the revenue is good, but the profit isn't particularly great compared to everyone else, is it? Miles Van Eaton says, off topic, but Steve, what are your thoughts on Stuart Matheson leaving the MEN and devoting their devolving quality of sports journalism?
I like Matheson. I've interviewed him a few times. He's a good lad. He was.
To be fair, any journalist worth their salt wouldn't be at the MEN anymore anyway.
So there you go. I thought it was a loss when he left there, especially as it meant a more prominent role for one of the worst journalists.
There are still
in the country
plenty of good journalists at the MEN.
I know some of them. I'm not disputing that.
Yeah,
but in terms of United content, and I think there's a lad called I think it's Tyrone Marshall. He's all right, but we know Luckhurst is a joke. He is.
And the City lot treat it like it's a City fan.
Oh, Brennan, don't get me started on him. We'll be here all day.
Unbelievable.
I'm sad, Steve, that we're not going to sign anyone. I'm upset.
Why are you like, that's it now? He said that and you're on board with what he said?
No, and I know some of what Steve's saying is coming from sort of people saying things. So I know you're not just guessing.
Right.
But there is part of me that thinks we've got to sign someone. We're still Man United. Like Arsenal have got no money. Where have they got money from? They fucking bought Pepe. They always go, we ain't got anything.
Yeah,
and
but they also don't have any debt.
No, yeah, but
United are
debt?
absolutely crippled.
What's
with
debt
between
friends?
Well, it's a lot between banks.
Yeah, but that's the thing, though, isn't it? We've had anywhere between 6 and 200 million quid's worth of debt for 15 years. We've still signed players.
And do you know what? In that time, the TV revenue went from like no one could have predicted that it would go from being about 200 million a season
to 2 billion or whatever it is,
5 billion, to just being the absolutely outrageous figures that it's become now, because it's insane. It's literally insane in terms of what the broadcast revenue has gone to. That couldn't have been in their business model because they wouldn't have known that.
What about this new kit deal? Is that not going to do anything for us?
What, the one that's 20 million quid a year less than the current one?
Yeah.
Do you see the way they framed it? See, this is the problem with United. Yeah. They go, it's the biggest kit deal signed in a pandemic. Yeah, but it's smaller than the fucking previous.
So for anyone who didn't see, United's old deal with Chevrolet was £65 million a year. This one is £45 million a year. And United have come out and said it's the biggest shirt-only sponsor of all time. But because this frees up us to have a separate commercial deal with a car brand. But you're not getting 20 million a year for that.
No.
And like you said, it's the biggest pandemic deal. It's like, well, it is, but like it's still.
What's that? The biggest pandemic
20%
the
less
biggest
than the
deal
it
this
was the
summer.
biggest deal that we signed on a Wednesday.
And over 5
exactly.
years, that's 100 million less over 5 years.
Correct.
So,
that's not only that. We signed that previous deal fucking moons ago.
Yeah, when the world record fee was Gareth Bale at 89 million, and since then it's more than doubled.
My point is then that's not going to have any positive bearing on transfers whatsoever.
Not over where we not over where we currently are.
Right.
I mean, obviously, kit deals and 45 million quid a year helps run things and buy players, but I don't think it's going to take us from where we are now to a better place this summer. The
only thing that's going to change, and literally, United's one of the few clubs in the world that could do it with fan ownership. Because the club does make enough money when you're not trying to pay off 100 million in interest. This is the thing. If they'd have paid off the capital, for 15 years, Joe, we've been paying 100 million a year in interest on a 600 million pound loan, and we still owe 450 fucking million, Joe.
They don't want to pay it off, though, do they? I don't think they want to pay the debt off. Yeah.
Now, this is where they get fucked. This is where the Leeds United sort of scenarios happen, where you've banked on next year's tendencies and you've banked on next year's Champions League money, and then ITV Carlton goes tits up, you can't pay your creditors, and then you're in League fucking One before you know it.
I'm going to say right now, United won't be in League One anytime soon. Siran Bala says, we've defo been hit in a big way due to COVID, as can be seen in the financials. The debt is still absurd, and 100 million dividends taken out as well. Leeches the lot of them. No dividends this year, they're getting upset about that. I'll talk about something a bit more positive.
I've seen Ross Murphy as well. Anyone know what keeping tabs mean?
I don't know where it comes from, but it just means like keeping an eye out, listening, and just following a situation and keeping your
the actual
ear to the ground.
Etymology of it all is.
Yeah, I don't know where it comes from.
What are you looking at me dirty? It looks for sorry.
It's when you open loads of tabs on Google Chrome or whatever, and you're like, I'm going to keep these tabs because I'm going to keep checking on these things. I think it comes from that. It's a very modern phrase.
Yeah, it is. It's only been around since then.
Yeah, definitely is. Let's talk a bit more transfers then, because I want to have
even
some
though
good
Steve's
news today.
pissed on our chips when it comes to transfers. Let's talk about them anyway.
Yeah, but you're not John Murter. You don't know. He might have loads of things up his sleeve.
Yeah,
he might have
Talk
a
about
secret
him.
way of getting deals.
If you were him, would you not be desperate to have look at my first summer?
Of course.
But guess what? I don't think he gets to decide this. From talking to people in and around the situation.
There we go. There's the squeeze of juice into my glass.
People are just saying we're fucked.
No, they're not. They're not saying that. Saying something else.
All right. Right.
Lie
of
to
course.
me.
Right. I genuinely believe that there's people at the club, and I would put Darren Fletcher amongst them. So read between the lines on that one if you want. that want to do a fucking bang-up job for Manchester United and love the fucking club and love what it stands for and want it to be the best in the world.
Yeah.
But you can only piss with a cut you got, Joe.
But surely United have got quite a substantial one.
No. We've got a Photoshop one that we send round to people.
They looked good
The
15
other one
years
doesn't
ago.
get anywhere near the bottom of a pint glass no more.
Really? What about half pint glass?
I was thinking.
What about one of those
shot glasses?
Those IKEA cups that are like plastic ones, one yellow, one blue, one turquoise, all them lot.
I don't know what you mean.
Don't know them old IKEA cups from about 20 years ago? Come on, Ste. You've never been... So we ain't got a nice sausage or whatever, like you're trying to say.
No. And we spread a rumour that we have. At the end of the day, I think there's certain people at the club that really want to do a good job. I just don't think they've been given the tools or the permission to do that.
So are you... I mean, I didn't want this to be... I didn't know we were going to be this pessimistic when this started. In your head, then, the next 5 years of Manchester United, is it...
I'm going to get well fatter.
Well, I think there's a point where it just goes fatter, death.
Yeah.
So you're going to die.
Fantastic.
You
know I can't wait
for the next 5 years.
You know
then?
that I'm excited for that, don't you?
Well, I don't know if you
so
are. I know you talk about it.
Weird.
I don't think it is.
Embracing.
I think he's scared of it, but he says this to get his head
Joe,
around it.
I am not scared of death. I can't wait.
Yeah,
for
like
the
transfers.
sweet
You're double
cuddle.
bluffing the Grim Reaper.
I can't wait for the sweet cuddle of being dead.
I'm sure your family are buzzing at you saying that.
Let's not talk about that. Let's talk about...
Fucking ask her. She'll be in the comments. She'll be like, yeah, he says that.
Peter Kelly's in the super chat. He said, didn't they say they had better offers on the table but chose TeamViewer because of the values and how they were similar
those better offers,
to United?
Those better offers will have been bookies, gambling companies, and drug lords.
Anyway. I don't believe it anyway.
And oil.
I think it's nonsense.
Do you?
Yeah.
I reckon they could have got more money out of a gambling company.
Chinese shit. I
Yeah.
mean, I've got no evidence. I just do. I just think it's just like...
Chatting shit.
we could have got a better offer. Just taking TeamViewer because we really
we like them in that.
We love viewing.
Because we've heard of them.
Yeah, we love viewing teams.
We promised we've heard of
it was a good
fit. Yeah, away from that. Do you think there's a chance then in the next 5 years that sort of this is as good as it gets?
Yeah.
That's horrible.
I'll still be here, Joe.
No, I know you'll still be here, but
Sadly.
why can't we be optimistic?
Because
I know you've sort of laid a lot of it out.
What's the point in deluding yourself into thinking? For 15 years, they've fucked us in the arse, right? They got away with it for the longest time. 8 years of it, Fergie kept it going. You look at the last 5 years prior to the Glazers of what Fergie bought, how much money he fucking spent. He spent crazy amounts of money.
When you look
Rooney,
at it,
on Ronaldo, on
Ferdinand.
Veron and Van Nistelrooy and fucking the Jemba twins and even Forlan.
Yeah.
We spent mad cash on them. Then the Glazers come and we made a profit on transfers from 2005 to 2013. Now in that time, because the foundations with Rooney and Rooney and Rio and Ronaldo and all that had been laid prior to 2005, when we actually got to 2007, 2008, 2009, we was hitting the Champions League final and we was winning the titles and stuff like that. That was like the lag of what had been laid 3-4 years before. Then when that team started to crumble, do you honestly believe Alex Ferguson was like, yeah, I'll just make a profit? Do you honestly believe there was no value in the transfer market? That's a load of bollocks. There was lots of value in the transfer market. We weren't interested in spending. Then when Fergie fucked off, they went, we're going to have to pull this out the fucking bag now, especially when Moyes came in and fucking drove it into the cliffs.
Shit himself.
They started spending some money, but because we're run by fucking clowns, they've spent money, and like we said before, they've lurched from one fucking manager to the next, and because we're set up to be a business first, we don't know how to be a successful football club. And if you want to make fucking money, be a successful football fucking club first. Because you've got this fan base that will fucking buy anything you plaster a United sticker onto if you're winning. And think how much money... Look at Liverpool have absolutely stolen a march on us across the world in terms of their commercial times and stuff like that. Why? Because they've just won the fucking league and they just won the fucking Champions League. We have no intention of putting in the hard work and the money to make us a Champions League title-winning football team. We don't even ask about being the best in our fucking city, Joe. We're not going to do it. So when you say to me, why won't we just do it? Because I'm looking at the last 16 years of Glazer ownership and I'm looking at what's going on in the future and I'm saying there's a fucking reason we've got Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in and we've got a nice guy in that's going to play the party game and he's He's good at bringing young players through, like Haaland, like he brought through at Mulder. And he's someone that's going to work with what he's got because he fucking loves this club and he wants to be here. Rather than a mercenary like Mourinho, who's going to go, I wanted fucking blah, blah, blah. I've got to play these fucking kids. They don't want that. They want the impression that everything's fucking rosy in the garden. And it's not. It's fucking rotten. And it's been rotten for 15 fucking years while these are owners. It's not going to change unless they fuck off. It's as simple as that. And you might only get a chance to fuck them off if the club goes tits up, which I don't want to see. I'm going to be there every single week, hoping that I'm wrong, hoping that they are going to bring... I'm outside Old Trafford every fucking week. I one day I want to go 10 out of 10 with fucking sign someone, right? But I'm not gonna. And I'm not going to fucking lie to the people and say it's all fucking rosy when it's not. It's not rosy. They fucked us for 15 fucking years. They fucked Alex Ferguson. He'd still be in now, I think, if he was getting the players he wanted. Yes, there was things going on in his personal life. I believe he'd still be in if he was getting the players he wanted.
To that point then about the Glazers leaving, do you reckon it's almost sort of revolution or nothing in terms of United have to have such a seismic event, whether that be losing loads of money, some giant takeover bid, or, let's not go as far as Leeds in League One, but do you think something like a recession or interest loans changing or interest rates on loans changing, or basically things have to start collapsing before the Glazers leave, and then maybe we'll get someone who, maybe morally questionable, but will at least have the money that they're not taking stuff out of the club every year?
I think the next step probably is someone morally questionable. You talk about someone maybe from one of the oil states or someone like that coming in.
That's what you're going in for.
No, well, it's true. Like,
you know what, lads? What we need is someone morally questionable.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that we need it or I want it. And if I'll be honest with you, I'd probably draw a line on that and say, that's me done, going to the games and stuff. If we become just a sports washing enterprise, I hate the Glazers. That's bad enough. But if we're going to go down the route of, here's a distraction from our horrible human rights by buying this big shiny club. The
game's entirely fucked, though. When
They sign a club in Manchester, then I'm sorry, I'm not going to be a part of that. And people can say, oh, you know what, so you'll go with the Glazers, but you won't go in that. And that's it. That's where we'll draw the line under it. But I think that's where it's probably going to end up. I do, and I think I see that as the only way. I know what Steve's getting at, and it might be sort of bankruptcy or whatever for him, but I think that's the only way that they move on, is if they sell us to someone. And the only one who can buy us are one of these multi-billionaires.
It's going to ruin the game. Because if one club ends up... Like Manchester City could do it. If every league... Because every league's a little bit predictable. Bayern have fucked Germany. Money's fucked the game. Now, people will look at maybe Sir Matt's record and go, oh, you only won 3 titles or something?
5 titles he won. 5.
Pretty shit, innit? Didn't even dominate.
Considering he lost a team, his entire team. I know you know this, but yeah.
But the difference being then, it was super competitive. It was like the Championship, without promotion, obviously. So it could be a different team could win it. Now, United get blamed with being this moneybags club. Look into it, because I do. United spent less than Manchester City in the 90s. Roll me that one round your head. United was outspent by Tottenham, Manchester City, Liverpool, Newcastle, and Blackburn in the 90s, right? We were just fucking mint. We were outspent by Chelsea in the early part of the noughties, and then Manchester City have just absolutely walloped
I think, didn't Liverpool outspend us in the noughties as well?
Yeah, Liverpool may have outspent us.
No, they did. Yeah, they did. 100%. They went for it constantly. Just
United get accused of being this loaded team. We were a rich team, but we didn't actually spend what we were making. We did it largely on the back of having a fantastic youth academy, which is something I'm really proud of what we do as a football club and what we stand for. But we never moneybags it into what's happening in France, what happened in Germany, and even what Juventus have done for different reasons of why it's gone tits up in Italy. Obviously, you've got a duopoly in Spain between Barcelona and Real Madrid, because both of them are just spending outrageous sums of cash.
I mean, if you want to talk about debt, have a look at Barcelona.
Barcelona are well fucked, man.
Does that matter though? Over there, it seems like Spanish clubs. Real Madrid and Barcelona seem to get away with this sort of shit all the time.
Barcelona might be double fucked.
Really?
Yeah, proper double fucked. But they're commercially so powerful that they might get away with it.
That's what I mean.
You look at Barcelona,
they do what they want.
Yeah, they're United are at a similar boat. They're sort of brands that sort of transcend the sport they're in. Yeah. Like Twitter, I think in its existence, Twitter if they have last year, that's new to me, hadn't made money any year. They were losing millions, if not hundreds of millions of pounds every single year. But because the brand is so big, because the reach is so big, because they're in so many people's homes and hands, they just continue to exist because they keep getting loans because of their sort of mind share almost.
What's mad is like football clubs and the debt that football clubs are in is mind-boggling for regular people like ourselves. But to the business world, it's pretty fucking minor in the grand scheme of things, which is why maybe, some business people, the stock market people especially, and they can all fuck off. They're not asked about United's level of debt.
No.
Because they see it as a business. It's not a business, it's my football club, Joe.
Yeah.
Like, it's what my fucking granddad and my great-granddad went to in the 30s. Like, this means a lot to me. Like, they don't give a fuck because over in America especially, a franchise fails and they move it to fucking New York. Start again. It doesn't happen in England.
Move it to a bigger market.
These are community fucking assets and they belong to the community, and it should never have been allowed that a club could have been bought on leveraged debt the way it was, especially a couple of seasons after what had just happened to Leeds has just fucking happened to Leeds. And they're like, fucking crack on.
And like the whole thing is like there are meant to be things in place that stop bad ownerships taking place, and obviously United haven't.
Saddam Hussein could have bought one of these fucking clubs. That fit and proper person test, an absolute joke.
But there's meant to be those things in place.
What's your name? Bin what? Bin.
Mate,
spell like Laden. Oh, okay.
Ross Murphy says, Stephen, I applaud you. Suram Bala says the market is typically very emotional and reacts to positive news. Of course, New Deal, John and Fletch. And SM interactions being touted in the investor call is a ploy to mask the financial hits. I mean, a lot of it, like you said, it's about business and it's about the front and it's about what can things look like so that the stock price goes up rather than what's actually going on.
What I meant to say, what I was saying before, in terms of like in the 50s and the 60s and stuff like that, because of the salary cap that was in place, clubs was extremely competitive. And even in the 70s and the 80s, that was still the case. It changed in the 90s and people want to say it's because of the money that United had, but we didn't actually spend it on transfers. We might have paid decent wages. I think United have always paid quite decent wages, but it was never the same sort of thing in terms of what you're seeing now with like City and PSG and all the rest of that sort of stuff. The game is doing this.
Yeah.
The haves are absolutely stripping away from the have-nots, and when you've got people like City that can have two squads, cup upsets don't happen anymore. Like giant killings don't happen anymore. And ultimately, it is fucking killing the game. It's making the game boring. Like, can you imagine being a French football fan at the moment? There's no hope of you winning that fucking league unless something happens at PSG. Same in Italy. Even as an AC Milan fan.
That's even if you're a Lyon fan, who were the most successful team for years, Marseille, who were a big team for years, even they barely don't have a chance, let alone Amiens or fucking whoever else, Nice.
Look at the model like Auxerre had when it was Guy Ruder. Just went around for years, just bringing through youngsters, like winning the odd trophy and that. Just a club run the right way, the way it should have been done. And then it's just like, now it's just...
who's going to be
again,
the feeder?
The only other
team comes into it.
and the only other team who came close and won a trophy was Monaco because they had other billionaires.
That's it. It's just billionaire versus billionaire.
The genie's out of the bottle now, and it's never going back in. You're never going to get it back to being a more level playing field. They tried financial fair play. Some of the bigger clubs went, fuck you.
What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do? We've spent too much money, so you're going to fine us £4 million. Yeah. Here's more money that you supposedly we aren't allowed to spend.
So they pulled the plug on that. Now it's going to be an absolute free-for-all.
Tell us more about that, because you say they pulled the plug on that. That's not been that widely reported yet.
But it has, though, isn't it?
Well, it has, but I mean, what's going on with that?
Basically, UEFA, because I think it's UEFA, not a FIFA thing, have said, we're going to scrap financial fair play. And everyone went, I think the only club you punished was like Porto, wasn't it? That's not, they didn't punish any other club. Like, City took
Chelsea got a 6-month transfer ban, or whatever it was.
Wasn't that from transfer irregularities rather than FFP regulations?
Okay, maybe,
I think it was.
So the only thing that was maybe keeping... And it was designed to keep clubs alive.
Got away with financial fair play.
Let's have it right, though. As soon as City did
Neymar
what
was
did,
a free transfer, do you not know?
There was never going to be a thing where after that they can then implement it.
It's like
because that was just like that was a watershed moment, wasn't it? They obviously got caught. They knew they got caught. Yeah. It was obvious, like the amount of evidence against him. And then they made a decision. And as soon as the Court of Arbitration and Sport went, right, no, we're throwing it out. Yeah. That was the end of that.
It's like
from then on, how do you move on from that?
What's his name?
Doing it?
Barnard Castle.
Dominic Cummings.
It's like that.
Yeah,
when Dominic Cummings drove to Barnard Castle and the government were like, he didn't do anything wrong, you fucked it.
Yeah, of course you
Everyone's gone, oh, we can do that now.
Look
And same thing with City, with PSG, with these clubs that are so clearly fucking it up, so clearly breaching the rules. I don't know. And I mean, is it going to take a United, a Barcelona, or a Juventus to go bankrupt? One of the sort of giant players in football to go bankrupt before we have to fucking slow this whole thing down.
That was originally the point of FFP, was to stop smaller clubs from going bankrupt, and now it's looking like, you're sat here talking about 3 of the biggest clubs in the world, and
I mean Barcelona especially, they've took €1 billion in debt, €1 billion in debt. Which, like, at some point, where does that go? Where do you keep? What carpet do you keep sweeping that?
The thing is, no one ever talks about how much they pay Messi.
Yeah.
It's like, I think it was like $1.5 million a week. Now people go, "Well, he's worth it. He's Messi." Not disagreeing, right? Yeah. But that means that the payment structure of your club means that fucking Griezmann's on 800 grand a week.
Yeah.
And other fucking
Dembele's on
nuggets
215 grand a week. And cost him €100 million plus 40 in add-ons.
I know a player that they was talking to, and they said to him, "What you want at your current club?" And he went, blah, blah, blah. And he went, we'll fucking smash that.
Yeah.
By a lot.
But, you don't pay Cam that much at Stretford Paddock, so they probably could beat that. And you know what? He rejected him. We've got a couple of super chats. Sorry.
David Rothwell, sorry, I've not been back on it, bro. That's not for me. Leave that to the kids.
Sorry. Jamie Burton says, if we get some human rights abusers in, I'm off down the Paddock, not watching Qatar, didn't watch Russia 2018. And there's a Google suggestion in there as well.
You said you'd sling it. I don't think I can. I'm in too deep. I would not be happy with it. And I've said some shit about owners of City and PSG, which I stand by. And if we became that for any other, like, there's a difference between, he's loaded and he's from China. Okay, cool. It's just a Chinese bloke.
Yeah.
He's loaded and he's from Brazil. Okay, cool. But when it's the government of a company behind it, or the government of a country behind it, that's got a different vibe, man.
Yeah.
That doesn't feel right.
Yeah, it's like, this is exactly it. It's, a bit of sports washing to distract from the fact that we're murdering lots of people.
Roman Abramovich is a Russian guy. He's not the Russian government.
No.
Can you imagine the different flavour of that? I mean, he might be. He might have ties in there, but he isn't the literal Russian government.
And the other problem is, football has gone to such an extent where it is very difficult to have made enough money that you've got roughly £3 billion spare, because it has to be spare, because as the Glazers have proven, I mean, I suppose they've made a lot of money, but you're not making here's my investment to go from being a decently rich guy to $1 billion. Like, this person has to be able to lose money for this to work in the way we want it to work. To have £3 billion spare, you've probably not treated one person or a group of people or a country or a continent very well at some point. Because it's hard to make that much wealth.
About it.
If it was Amazon, look at all this shit they're doing. Look at all these products they use, the mining in this country for these resources, the way they treat the staff. Like, it's very hard to accumulate such an incredible amount of money without fucking people over. So it's almost a point where it's like, I don't even know how you can support any of it. I mean, obviously some things are worse than others. I'm not saying anyone, paying someone £4 an hour is as bad as killing people.
Yeah.
But it's very difficult. It's such a sort of unnatural amount of wealth and resources for one person or company to have. It's going to be hard for anyone to get there and build their own United. Dream owner.
What's that? Jim Ratcliffe.
I was going to say he's the one everyone touts in the United.
He's just bought a Spanish club, hasn't he?
Yeah.
I believe, or a French club.
Dream owner.
I don't know how he made his money though. What did you do? Where's the bodies?
Imagine if Donald Trump bought us. That'd be the worst thing ever.
Bill Gates.
You'd
what
love
about
it.
Bill Gates? Would you like Bill Gates?
Bill Gates is weird, isn't he? Because he's like...
Is he a bad guy?
He is, internet-wise, he's awful. People hate him.
In memes, he's
about as bad as it gets. But I mean,
might be really,
what did he do?
not,
Make computers and then now do a lot of charity work. If you're looking at it from the government,
that's what I mean.
But the sort of party line. Here's what he does in the press.
Bill Gates owners, that's me done.
Do you know what? I'd take Bill Gates over pretty much most people.
What about Elon Musk? You got any skeletons in the closet?
I mean, again, he's one of those.
He'd want to start our club on the moon.
He's just a very sort of.
I'll tell you what, we're moving the stadium to Mars. What?
He's a very sort of fetishized boy, isn't he? Like sticking all his memes in like anime on Twitter.
Does he have any like?
No, in terms of
has
like
he killed anyone?
Human rights stuff, I think Elon Musk is probably all right. I don't know. He's also got 200 billion quid's worth of value that he isn't using to sort of give away to help more people, but he is putting fucking fig trees on Mars.
That's what I mean.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, in terms of human rights and deep moral issues that a lot of people and places have, I guess Elon Musk and Bill Gates would be all right.
Yeah.
We've got
it down to two
Prince
people.
Harry and Meghan Markle.
Yeah. How much have they got? How much is their Spotify deal?
Someone's saying Les Dennis. I think I don't know if he's got all that anymore.
He'd have to get together with Bobby Davro and do it as a partnership.
Bobby Davro, billionaire.
I mean, obviously.
Remember how big he was in the 80s?
He was big in the 80s.
Yeah, come on.
Rio.
That 80s cash.
Yeah, that 80s cash is hard, mate.
Rio made a similar suggestion about Newcastle, and I'm not going to say exactly the way he said it. Is there a way?
Oh, do you know what? Bollocks. I'll tell you. I said, fuck me, and fucking Newcastle fans are going to you anyway. Fuck them lot.
Is there a way Manchester
Glad to
United...
see you poured water on that particular fire.
Is there
Nicely
a way
done.
that Manchester United fans could ever own Manchester United?
Yeah. Apparently.
And I'm not saying let's all send £3 in.
No, when it
like,
was a
is
few
that
years
possible?
ago, when it was
bank details.
Yeah,
when
exactly.
it was the Shareholders United thing, it came close. This is what when we had Ian Sterling
that's
on.
the idea,
yeah,
isn't
from
it?
most. He was saying it was very, very close to happening, and then now it's further.
But again,
further
what
away.
would that? But that wouldn't be.
That was when we were 200 million.
But again,
Yeah.
though, that wouldn't be. Let's all put £1 in, 3 billion of us, or 10 quid. You know, whatever million of us. That is like 70 blokes who have all got 20 million each.
I think there's like
I
certain
believe they're
limits on
called
there.
a consortium.
Yeah.
Is usually the.
So even that, what do you get with that?
Even though like you could have small amount of shares, so you wouldn't have to. It wouldn't even need to be 70. It could be like quite a lot, and then it all just goes in.
Because obviously that is the dream scenario, isn't it? We're picking billionaires here.
Yeah.
But like, what would be ideal is people who are Manchester United fans.
If you could
owning
get,
the club.
you know, say 100 or whatever, 200 United fans who had like, you know, tens of millions each, and they all put together, then that'd be fantastic. I just don't.
That's the
think
thing
it's gonna happen.
if you can buy United without any debt, you don't need to put any money in.
Yeah.
That's the thing, because the club does run itself.
Yeah.
Even with the last 15 years, the hindrance of that 100 million. Like every year, you're 100 million down from every other club in the league. Think of what you could have done with an extra 100 million transfers a year.
Yeah.
We're not in the predicament we're in now, because 5 years ago, and for the last 5 years, you spent 100 million. That's 2 world-class players, probably.
You've always
Every
said you said to me ages ago, and I think it was on the Brew. You said the next step for this, the owners then is to start almost asset stripping, selling our best players and not replace. And from what you're saying, then this summer, wouldn't that be what's happening? If
Pogba goes
and we don't buy a marquee signing,
If Pogba goes and we don't sign a marquee signing, that has to be the beginning of the end.
Isn't that
Next
just
thing
asset
you know,
stripping?
the naming rights for Old Trafford on
I was going to
eBay.
say, well, look what's happened to Sheffield Wednesday. The exact same thing. So Sheffield Wednesday owners came in and they spent a lot of money to get promoted, or a decent amount of money for championship level to get promoted, didn't get promoted, and then had to buy their own stadium off themselves. So the owner of Sheffield Wednesday now owns Hillsborough separately of Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah.
So he sold it to himself essentially.
That's similar to what the Oystons did.
Yeah, and they got they got a 12-point deduction that got reduced to 6 points. But now Sheffield Wednesday owner can sell Sheffield Wednesday, and Sheffield Wednesday might have to play at fucking some other stadium in Sheffield, Don Valley Stadium or something, because they don't own their own. That could happen.
Yeah.
The Glazers could sell Old Trafford to themselves if they wanted to. Or you could sell it to whoever. We could sell it to
that's exactly
whatever.
what-
Not just a naming rights, but the actual stadium.
I think Carl Oyston did it with Blackpool Bloomfield Road when
Was it
Premier
a quid?
Inn
Was it a quid, that?
Premier Inn wanted the land behind the stadium, and he sold it to himself and then sold it to them.
Yeah.
So he kept all the
Exactly.
money.
The Glazers could do that.
from Premier
They own
Inn,
the whole
like,
club.
yeah.
We're going to sell Old Trafford to ourselves
Yeah.
for 6 million quid.
And then it was like, that's
And then we'll
mine
sell
now.
that
For a
as
billion.
it's 500 million. Like, I mean, that is. We're not near that, I don't think, are we? We're not near that.
Aren't we? We owe 500 million.
Yeah, but we've owed that for ages.
Exactly.
Forget about that.
We've paid 1.5 billion off, and we've only paid off 150 fucking million.
Do you know when you-
What sort of crackhead accounting is that?
Do you know when you're in your overdraft and you're like, oh, I've got some money and thank God you get paid, and you get to the point where your wages don't bring you out of your overdraft.
Yeah.
So that's where the Glazers are. They're like, oh fuck yeah, we've just got 300 million quid, and it's like, yeah, you're still 200 million in debt. It's like, yeah, but that don't count because I knew I was 500 million in. Like I knew I was in a grand in my overdraft.
Like Joey Diaz says, if you're gonna walk on ice, you might as well dance.
I think that's a great place to end the show.
Nicely said.
It's been a very
Joey.
positive show
Fuck
today, hasn't it?
the Glazers.
Say it louder, brother.
Steve's quite clear on that. I think we're all quite clear on that. Manchester
I find it
United,
hilarious how people think
looking
we're a
right.
fucking Glazer supporting.
I don't believe anyone that would.
insane.
I don't think anyone that watches us genuinely believes
A lot of
that. I
people,
don't see how that would
a lot
be
of people
possible.
were in the comments saying about Juan Mata's mum's passed away
Yes.
as well. Yeah, condolences to Juan Mata.
Condolences to the loveliest
definitely.
footballer.
Definitely.
Sad times.
Yeah.
I think his old man, done his old man, owned the restaurant. Is it Avuna?
I think so. Yeah. So that's sad news, and hopefully,
Yeah.
he'll be back when he's ready.
Yeah.
Back in the fold when he's ready. What have you got coming up this week? What have you been doing today, you little punk?
Well, me and Adam McCall have got a debate video that's coming out very soon. We've got all sorts. We're going to have all the preview stuff for the match as well coming up. We've got attackers that United should be buying that Stephen's going to be bringing us very soon. We've also got a very nice video
Don't
coming
say
out
that.
soon as well.
I didn't say anything. I just
Should
smiled.
is the word, right?
We've got a really good video coming out actually, looking at Ole's style of play, because we've had a lot of people
Barcelona
since he's
style of
come
play.
in going, "What's Ole's style of play? What's Ole's style of play?" Well, we'll tell you.
Who's going to tell us that?
Stephen Howson's going to tell us
Couldn't
that.
think of anyone better.
Coming out very soon. What is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's style of play? So don't miss that one. But yeah, thank you very much for joining us. Steve, you've really filled my life with
Next
happiness
time we
and
do one of
excitement.
these, though, mate, just a little thing. Can you not sit on the fence when it comes to the Glazers?
Okay.
It's a bit embarrassing.
All right,
Cheers.
so-
Cheers for joining us as well, Jay. Cheers for joining us at home, and we'll see you in a bit.